What is better for a business, an LLC or a corporation? We are going to go through and talk specifically about that. And I'm going to tell you the pros and cons on those things. Stay tuned to the very end. I got a special offer for you. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. All right, so I started my first of 15 companies when I was 19. I have built them, bought them, sold them, and wrecked a couple. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people literally around the world grow and build businesses. I've got a handful that I've actually helped go from entrepreneurial to nearly billion-dollar market caps. The question for a small business is, what is the structure? What is the entity we're looking at? Now, caveat, spoiler alert, I am not an attorney, so make sure that you talk with your small business attorney and your small business accountant to get clear advice, particularly for your local municipality and regions. What I'm going to talk about is broad generalizations. So in general, there's 3 different types of ways that you can do this. 1 is you can be a sole proprietor, 2 is you can do an LLC, and 3 is you can be some sort of corporation. Sole proprietor means that you're basically attaching the business and everything that goes along with the business to your social security number. So the business makes it things go well, you're okay. Things go bad, people can come after you personally. This is old school, very, very simple way of doing businesses. I've done, like I said, I've done a lot of them, and I've never done one of those. So I would encourage people to consider different ways of looking at it. You can do a partnership through basically sole proprietorships as well. It's a little bit funky and not your best options traditionally. So most people are curious about what's the difference between an LLC and a corporation. So an LLC is just a limited liability corporation. There's a couple of different types. There's a sole entity LLC, and then there's multiple. There's usually restrictions on the number of people that can be in the LLC. What's nice with LLCs though is that you can have different types of voting rights and different structures and different pieces within that. They're a little bit simpler and a little cleaner. I use LLCs for all of my real estate investments. I've got real estate in a handful of states, storage facilities, things like that, to where I hold the LLC owns the ownership in that. Now, what is a corporation? In essence, it's an independent entity. It gets, and this isn't a limited liability corporation or a regular corporation. They both have what's called an EIN number, an employer identification number. And this is issued by the IRS, and it's basically like the social security number for a business. And that EIN number, when it's born, well, it doesn't have any credit, doesn't have any of this other stuff, but it's its own independent entity. And as its own independent entity, sometimes you may have to co-sign, like you were co-signing for a kid, your personal credit, your personal social security number, whatever has appeared there, with the LLC or with the corporation. But it allows you to put assets and build within the structures. Now, I'm working with a few people on selling their businesses right now, and the right type of structure when you sell and how you hold your assets is important, and where they're held. And this is where having that tax advice or the legal advice is really important on how you do the right structure. So these are independent entities, a limited liability corporation, or you've got 3 types of traditional corporations. 1 is a C Corp, and a C Corp is the big companies. These are most publicly traded companies are C Corps. A lot of times they're held in Delaware because there's tax advantages to different places. When you have a C Corp, the entity itself gets taxed on its own level, and then as people get paid out of it, they get taxed individually on what the proceeds are out of that. There's certain restrictions on how many people can be, or there are no restrictions in how many people can be in a C Corp. There are definitely restrictions in how many people can be in an S Corp, and that's the next one. So C Corp is usually very, very big, and traditionally, if you're a small business, you're not going to be a C Corp. It's expensive, and you kind of, by de facto, you're getting taxed twice. As an S Corp, it will treat everything. It has limited number of people, and you can be a single member S Corp up to about, I think, 30 people in the S Corp. Again, I don't remember exactly. But in an S Corporation, what it says is, hey, we're going to treat everything that happens in your business, anything you make, anything you lose, all of that. And then whatever the net that comes out of that goes all into the business, funnels through, comes out the bottom. That net is actually going to just get dropped right into your own personal income. And so it gets treated in a very different way. It has a lot of financial and liability benefits. So for the active companies that I own, where I have employees and things like that, I use an S Corp. Now, the last one is a newer company, newer type, and it's called a B Corp. And different opinions are out on it. It's intended for if you are planning on doing social good with your B Corp. If this is something that you have interest in, I would highly encourage you to research it, because it's new and it's expanding. But if you're still a for-profit, but you have the intention of giving a lot of positive back, then a B Corp may be the ideal fit for you. So, I don't know, maybe it was clear as mud. Hopefully there's some value in that. The big thing is make sure you find a great small business attorney and a great small business accountant, and they will be able to tell you, particularly for your areas, because things are changing all the time, on what's the ideal fit for you. And remember, most often they're going to give you at least an hour of their time for free, because they need to build new clientele as well. That's part of their biz dev. A good small business attorney and a good small business accountant will do that. So, excuse me. The fact that you've been here the whole video, thank you so much. All right, so we have a course at aspiringsolopreneur.com, and we have the book. I will give to the first 5 people who email me at my personal email and reference this video. The email is the letter K at entadv.com. Reference this email and we will give you the course for free. We're just going to ask for you to do a positive review and give us some good stars. All right, thank you so much. Keep smiling.